Hi guys, I'm back, it's Esther and welcome to my channel. All of you watching, make sure you like this video so it reaches everybody who needs to hear this message. Whether you're facing challenges in work, your personal life, or just want to feel a little bit better, listen up as these tips will help you exude confidence. Ladies and gents, ultimately the goal is to be able to confidently walk through life. And today I'll be sharing the recipe on how to do this successfully. But before I get into it, I do want to say that everything that I'm going to be sharing with you today requires you to put in the work in order to reap the rewards. If you're willing to put in the work, the roadmap that I'm about to share is going to make that journey just that little bit easier. First up is keep the promises that you make to yourself and seek internal validation. Building self-esteem, which goes hand in hand with confidence, starts with trusting yourself. When you make promises to yourself, whether it be waking up early, doing a workout, starting a new project, follow through. This builds self-esteem and in turn confidence because you learn to rely on your own word. This enforces trust and internal validation over seeking approval from external sources. What I urge you to do is set a small but achievable goal each week and commit to it. After doing so, celebrate your success internally and soon you'll start to realize that you don't need to seek external validation. The promise that I've made for myself for the upcoming week is to exercise at least 3 times, whether it be going to the gym or going for a run. But either way, 3 of the days out of the next week, I will be committing to exercising. Drop a comment below for what you're going to commit to for the next week. Next up is use the okay and mentality. Essentially, what is the worst that can happen? Often our fears hold us back more than the actual consequences of our own actions. Ask yourself, truly, what is the worst that can happen? When your mind conjures up some crazy scenario, your response to that needs to be okay and really makes you realize that most fears are manageable, unfounded, or simply unimportant in the grand scheme of things. You have to remember, you are the center of your own world and not for 99.9% of the people on planet Earth. Meaning that anything that you think of as majorly catastrophic, sorry to say it, insignificant in most people's lives. And to be honest, it's probably going to be quite insignificant in your own life. An example of this is even starting a YouTube channel. Initially, it can be a little bit scary because you're concerned about other people's thoughts, their opinions, but you have to remind yourself, okay, and if the people around you make fun of you, okay, and having confidence is in part, like I said before, seeking internal validation and not seeking external validation. Because when you combine that as well as okay and, then what's stopping you from doing anything confidently? Because even if someone does share their opinion about a project or anything that you're doing, sometimes you have to put it into perspective. Okay, and what do you want me to do with that information? Unless it's constructive criticism or it is something to help you, ultimately, what are they expecting you to do with that information? And when you look at it that way, it really takes the power out of that negative comment. Okay, the next thing that you guys should do to build your confidence and walk through life with said confidence is to get to know yourself. Spend time alone and engage in self-reflection. Understand your values, strengths, and passions. This self-awareness is the foundation for true confidence because you understand who you are and what you stand for. Knowing that makes it really hard for others to shake you up. If you don't know where to start with knowing who you are and what you like, etc., etc., start by journaling, because through that you'll start to explore your thoughts and you'll start to make correlations between your feelings and activities you're doing. You'll figure out what gives you fulfillment and what drains you. It's not to then say that you then shy away from things that don't bring you the most joy, because some of the most important things in life that you have to do, like being a responsible adult, isn't always the most fun. But by writing down your thoughts and your feelings, you're able to then assess what activities make you feel the most alive and the most fulfilled. And I think that's a great starting point when trying to figure out who you are. Next is stop comparing. Comparison truly is a thief of joy. Everybody is running their own race. Everybody on this earth, no matter what they're presenting to you, has had different experiences which either helps or hinders them in that race. You, as someone who doesn't have the inner workings of them and their lives, cannot know everything that's brought that person to this place. And the same way that they cannot know everything that brought you to the place that you are and the part of the race that you're in your journey. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is stop comparing yourself to other people, because you only see what they choose to share with the world. And nobody, absolutely nobody, chooses to share everything. Comparison undermines your confidence. Focus on your progression and celebrate your achievements, no matter how small. One thing that's helped me, and I think will help a lot of people in their journey to walking through life more confidently, is reducing their social media intake, because so much of what we see on the internet is just fake. And when you're seeing that, you start to internalize it and it can plant seedlings of doubt in regards to where you are at in your life. I've already said stop comparing. It's difficult to exercise that when you're taking in so much content. As humans, we're not meant to be seeing what everyone is doing 24/7. It's ultimately having a negative effect on people's confidence. In order order to be more confident, at least for myself, I've really limited the amount of social media that I take in, really just focus on myself, and essentially have curated my feed to have content that uplifts me. So if you find that social media makes you have negative comparisons to your own life, make sure you limit your exposure to that. Next is kind of direct and harsh, but it's stop being a victim. Take responsibility for your own life and your actions. For me, it's always been important to redirect and reframe my thinking to have a more proactive and positive outlook. Adopting a more proactive attitude helps me feel more in control and confident. For example, if something goes wrong, instead of blaming external factors, identify how you can learn. So then if you find yourself in a similar situation in the future, you can draw upon those learnings and move forward more confidently with a plan of action. Ultimately, you can't control others, but you can control how you respond. If you take learnings and take time to compose yourself and ultimately reject victim mentality, you will move forward more confidently, or at least I know I do. Another way that I'm able to move more confidently throughout life is that I speak positivity into myself. What we tell ourselves shapes us in ways that we cannot even imagine. So the way you talk to yourself really, really matters. Use positive affirmations. Focus on your strength to help build a strong mindset and essentially image of yourself. So in order to share some positivity, let's say 3 affirmations together. The ones I'm going to say for myself: I am capable, I am worthy, and I'm improving every single day. Rewind the video if you want to say that with me for yourself, or just think of something more relevant to yourself. Next up is make your happiness a priority. When you make decisions that align with your well-being, you build a solid foundation for confidence. When you're happy, it sets the tone for so much of how you portray yourself to the world, and I think it's a huge contributing factor to being confident. In order to be confident, you must practice. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Confidence grows through repeated exposure to challenging situations. By practicing and pushing your limits, you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you initially thought. I used to absolutely hate presenting in front of people, and to be honest, it's not something that I could necessarily say I enjoy, but it's something that I knew was important for myself personally as well as within my career. So the way that I combated this and the way that I kind of practice was, whilst I was at university, I nominated myself to be one of the people who presented to prospective students and their parents about my experience spending a year working in the industry within my degree. So just to explain that a little bit more, I did a 4-year degree, I did 2 years, did 1 year work placement, and then I came back for final year. So in my final year, I would do presentations at open days. I did this throughout the whole of final year. So now I don't find presenting so daunting. I encourage you to find 1 or 2 things that you think are challenging or you're not the most confident in, and put yourself in that uncomfortable situation, because the confidence I built from having that experience made me feel more confident and prepared to present in front of pretty much anybody. This leads nicely onto my next point, which is let go of perfectionism. If I hadn't have just gone for it and decided I'm going to present, I easily could have been sitting in my student apartment, stressed and trying to be perfect and try to practice this perfect presentation. Building confidence is sometimes just doing. You don't need to be perfect in order to start or to do something. The aim is for progression, not perfection. When you do accept this, you'll find taking action that little bit easier. The last point that I want to share in terms of helping you increase your confidence is just around appearance. Take care of your inner and outer appearance. Invest in your mental and physical well-being. Regularly exercise, have a healthy diet, and take care of basic grooming. Some of these things might sound vain, but they really do boost your confidence. They give you that little oomph. When you feel good inside and out, it really does show. To help you on that journey, make sure you develop a routine that involves regular exercise, healthy meals, and essentially anything that helps you look and feel good. You'll be able to walk more confidently throughout your life, and people will start to notice the positive change in you. Before I finish up this video, I just wanted to remind you that building confidence is a journey and not a destination. Be patient with yourself and celebrate every single step forward. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!